Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Zem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening everyone. So today is a Friday, the 27th of November 2020, and this is Achan Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. So as usual, I'm here with you all tonight, bringing some reflections, some news, some jokes, some stories, and some encouragements. Hi Mahesh, Bhaktagurung, Karina, Santi Thapa, Mahesh, Yvonne, Bo, Margaret, Manish, Anish, and everyone. I hope that you have experienced the first very frosty morning. I was so frosty this morning, but a beautiful day. Yeah. So, and before going into any other businesses, I would just like to thank you, Karina, for visiting the center and all the groceries to the temple, and particularly the freshly baked bread, which was delicious. I have finished half of it morning, so thank you. So greedy monk. So thank you very much for all the groceries. So there was one time people asked me that how the monks survive at the center, and then I said that the monks survive on a generous donation from the people. And there was a question that what if no one comes, then how monks would survive? And then my response was that if no one comes, then monks know how to turn on the gas cooker. But frankly saying, in the past I was not able to cook, especially when I was in Thailand. I never had to cook, I even didn't know how to cook. But when I came to UK in 2005 at the Punjab Buddhist Society in Wolverhampton, I had to learn, and it was terrible. But I am being a monk. I can't be fussy about. I can't eat this. I can't eat that. Whatever is available, I have to eat. So that's why I call myself a platarian. Whatever fall into my plate, I eat. I enjoy. But anyway, and after we established the center, when I was living alone. Often time when there is no food, no one comes to the center, then I will only rely on fruits that's available. And even when we moved into West Hill here, there was a moment that a couple of, I think a year, I even didn't know what is available in the kitchen. And I never looked at it, what is where. But later on, as people and the monks began to stay, then I have to be more mindful of feeding them, and I become more conscious about what's available in the kitchen. And it's become a routine that every day in the morning I just need to open the fridge, and then opening what is in there. Like that. So, and as you know, in the past, even now in Thailand and in Cambodia, in Laos, And in Myanmar, monks would go pindapata, or holding a bowl in their hands early morning, will go out and collect the food from the people and eat. And this tradition been a long time, since the time of the Buddha. Actually, it was before the Buddha's time, but the difference was that before the Buddha, whenever the ascetics, any ascetics, when they go out for begging of food, normally they shout, saying that, "Oh, ascetic is here, please give food," like that. I have a very bad memory, not a bad memory, actually it's the memory, but a bad experience. And we were taught that when the ascetics comes by the door, and you should give, otherwise they will, it's called srapa, or I don't know in English how to say it, basically saying that may bad things befall on you, or something like that. And particularly in one time of the year, we would get the ascetics, the priests from Hinduism, will come door to door and asking for the food, and then they will simply shout, "Now, as the priest is here, gives the food," like that. And then there is a rumor that if we do not give, then they will simply say that bad luck befall on you, something like that. Whereas once the Buddha invented or introduced the monastic living as a homeless living, then Buddhist monks are not allowed to shout, saying that, "Please give me your food." "Oh, thank you, Yvonne. I will knock your door whenever there is no one here." So good evening, Ton. So like that, and after this has been a tradition of Buddhist monks, that whenever they go out for begging of food, they would not shout and ask for food. They simply walk on a street, and then whoever would like to offer a food, then they have to request the monk to accept their food, saying, "Okay, Venerable Sir, would you please accept our food?" And only then venerable monks will stand still, open the lid, and put the food in their bowl, and then walk away. And this is how the tradition been practiced. And this is the particular moment of this one, where the donor has to request monk to offer a food. So this is a very particular theme here I want to focus on today. That normally in a giving, people think that I have, so, and then someone who hasn't got, and I give for that person, for the sake of a name, for the sake of a fame, or for the sake of a feeling good. And if someone is giving in that sense, then according to the Buddha's teachings, is not proper giving. There's still attachment there, still longing for something, rewards after you have given. So that's why, according to the Buddha's teachings, it's not about receiver, it's about the giver. So it's a giver point that the concept of a give is introduced, not in the terms of the receiver. If the Buddha talked about in the terms of the receiver, then a Buddhist monk in particularly would be a beggar, proper beggar, begging food and asking for the foods. But whereas the concept of the give is the giver's point of view. Now, giving is such important here. And then again, in the concept of the giving, it comes three things. One, giver. Second, and the object. And the third is a receiver. A giver has to have the sense of giving. And this giving is simply teaching us learn to let go, learn to give away, give up. And finally, we'll be able to let go of so many other things. And then, and as I mentioned, that to give, it's not easy. I have written one book on perspectives of the giving, and then in that I mentioned that many people these days give for the sake of their name, their fame, and then look down on someone who hasn't got it. Actually, Buddha's concept of a giving is a giver should know how to let go. Developing the sense of a giving, developing the sense of letting go. And that is what it is. And as being a householder, it is very, very difficult to give. Recently, I was talking with one of our members, and then he said that there is a man who worked so hard in his life. He was brought up as a very middle-aged, middle background, financially middle, not a prosperous, nor very poor. And then, but in his childhood age, he went through a little difficult time, and as a result of that, when he managed to establish himself, and he became so obsessed with the accumulation of the wealth and running every single day towards how to maximize his wealth. And despite of being the retired, he never managed. He didn't want to. Actually, he didn't want to stop working, and he didn't have any time for himself. No holidays, no relaxing, and in a family even. It's become so obsessed with earning wealth. And then somehow, after a couple of years of retirement, suddenly he got the cancer. He got the cancer, and then all the wealth that he had accumulated, he didn't even taste of it at all. I remember a few days ago, even when I was on a social media, Facebook, watching Jack Ma, the Alibaba tycoon, Alibaba, owner of Alibaba. He said that it's been so much engaged with the company that even his wife told him that he married with Alibaba, not to her. That sort of a mindset one has developed. And similarly, I remember when I was on one of the meditation retreats, and this teacher, he said that as a householder, we always compare with someone else, better things with someone else, and then you want to have it too. And with that, you accumulate so much. And with this accumulation, it's so difficult to give. It's so difficult to, even share. And similarly, there is a story comes in the Dhammapad, the scripture. In the scripture, it comes that a wealthy man, he was very wealthy, and he had only one child. And because of the stinginess and thought of losing his wealth, what he did was that he wanted to make a ring for his own son, but thinking that if he asked the blacksmith to make it, then he will charge furthermore, and with that I will be losing money. So rather than giving it to the skilled the blacksmith, he himself made the ring, and which ring wasn't that perfect. And as a result of that, this boy's nickname became a Mattakundali. Yeah, so there's not perfect ring wearing a boy. And later on, what happened is that somehow this boy got ill, and seriously ill. And when he became ill, again he thought that if he take his boy, his son, to the hospital or to the pharmacist, the doctor will charge more. So rather than taking him, I will explain to the doctor that what are the symptoms my son has. So he did like that and took the medicine from a doctor and gave it to the son. But his son's condition deteriorated, and then people come to visit him, and his friends came to visit him. And as the people began to come to see his conditions, and knowing that he is going to die soon, his father worried that, if everybody coming to my house, then they will see my wealth. Yeah, they will see my wealth. So I better take my son to the veranda in front of the house, so that people, when they come, they don't have to come into the house, but they will meet my son at the veranda. Look at how stingy he was. That's simply because of this, the attachment to the wealth that he had, cannot let go of it. And finally, anyway, the cuts to make it shorter. On the last day, when this Mattakundali young boy was about to die, somehow Buddha was sitting in meditation early morning, which is his daily routine, whom he should go and teach and enlightened. So on that morning, this boy came into Buddha's vision, and so Buddha came and helped. And after he died, the story says that he was reborn in heavens, and then after he was reborn in heaven, he wanted to know that, what is my father doing, and realized that his father was, going into the crematorium and crying for his son who died. Every single day he was visiting the cemetery and crying for his son. And his son from the heaven found that so sad, so he came down on earth during the time of his father visiting the cemetery, sitting bank of the river and throwing the sands, and asked that why you're crying. And then his father told that, my son just passed away. And then his father asked him that why you are throwing the sand on the river, and he said that I'm making a bridge so that I can catch the moon. So I want to go to moon, so that's why I'm making a bridge out of the sand on this river. And his father laughed out loud, saying, how silly you are. How could you make a bridge out of a sand on the river and then catching or going to the moon? And this boy, his son, ex-son, told him, saying that who is what is it called? I don't want to use any miswords, bad words. Or anyway, okay. Who do you think a fool between me and you? I can see the moon, I can see the water, I can see the sand, and with this, there is more possibility of going to the moon, rather than you can't see your son and you're crying for it. Yeah? So with that, his father got the awareness of, oh, what have I done? Now, what am I doing this? So with this, then he asked, who are you? Then, he said that I am your son. And he cried and he said that, you had so much wealth, but you didn't want to waste, and now your son is died, and then now you're crying for your son. Like that. So that's why, concept of a giving is something that, we are, a giver is the main point, not a receiver. So we have to learn to give. The more you give, the better you become. So that's why when people ask me about the center, there are so many people are contributing towards upkeeping the center, whether it's a fuel, whether it's electricity, whether it's utility bills and monks living, and all those our members are supporting. And with that support, center is again able to give, become a point of people can come and take a refuge, and center is able to give guidance and support us people. And the center is here so that whoever needed some supports, then they can come and get support. Like this morning, I got a call from one of the ladies who is not well. Then anytime her time is very little, although her mind is very sharp, and she still can't talk, but because of the condition she had, any time can be end of her life. And she felt so happy that there is a center and there is a monk to talk. So your support making me, or making the center, to be able to support so many other people. And that is the reason why I always tell our members that any teachings that we do, we will not charge. We will not charge for any teachings, any service, but we will open for the donations. Once they have seen the benefit, then they will also be part of it. As because of the previously so many other people have donated and supported the center, and a new person is getting the support. And once they have seen this benefit, that how is benefiting them, they will support. But there is no value on it. The value is the realization, the support that we give. Okay, so in this way, what we need to know, that when we give to someone, at that time, do not think about that person. Think about you, that I am giving. And with this giving, basically you are learning to let go, learning to share, like that. Okay? And it doesn't matter how small you have, you can give. And we have so much things, whether that's material things, whether that's emotional things, binding us at all the time. Because of that binding at all the time, it's so difficult to be free ourselves. And by giving, learning to give little by little, allows us to be free. And we are not binded by whether the material things or whether the emotional things. All the material things that we have now, when we were born, we didn't have any. We only have this body and the mind, and nothing more than that. And even when we were born, our body was fresh, everybody liked it. Mind was so pure, so at that time, the Buddha said, "Pabassaram midang chittang." Our mind was luminous. We were so ignorant about the world and full of joy, and that's why we can see the small child, as soon as they can walk, they can talk. It's beautiful. Everything is for them. So beautiful. Like that. So we will be experiencing that moment of freedom. End of the day, all that we have accumulated, we cannot take anything with us. So that's why Buddha said, whatever we give, that will be with you. But whatever you keep, it will be lost on the way. But again, sometimes you want to give. So you have an intention to give, you have a material to give, but other business comes in the middle. Suppose you have intention to come to the center to offer a dana, to food or any material things, and somehow other jobs comes, and then you will be juggling. Where should I go? What should I do? In that case, again, it's so difficult. You have to be very conscious about the pros and the cons, and which again comes in the Sutta Pitaka, in the discourse of the Buddha. There's one very nice story which I will tell you tomorrow. We don't have enough time for that story, so I will tell you this story tomorrow about the things comes in between, and as a result of that, despite of our intention and the objects that we have, want to give and unable to give. And this story will tell us a lot about how to let go, and letting go will making us freedom. And we all are binded by so many emotional things as well, and these emotional things, the very moment when we able to let go of it, as we come, nothing will go with many, like a shadow following us for the next life. And we are happy here and then hereafter. And it will help us to grow in the practice of a meditation too. Because the core concept of the meditation is to learn to let go. The very moment when we are able to let go of everything, nothing is there to hold you, and you are a free bird that you can travel anywhere without leaving any footprints on anyone else. So I end here for tonight's talk. Thank you everyone for listening, and may you all be well and happy. May the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you. In a few moments time we're going to have evening chanting and guided meditation. You're most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night, and see you shortly. Thank you. Satu.